This is Crysis 3 Remastered. We're doing a comparison on Xbox Series X. On the left, we have the Series X Crysis 3 Remastered. On the right, we have Crysis 3 from the 360 being played and recorded on the Xbox Series X through the backwards compatibility. This is a comparison between the two visually, so you can see the aesthetic differences between them. I went and I re-recorded all my footage for it, so HDR is turned off, but HDR is supported for both versions of the game. I didn't want to create any sort of weird glow or anything like that, so this is like the SDR version of this experience. These videos are a ton of work to put together, so liking them is fantastic and subscribing is great as well. And I hope you enjoy this comparison, seeing the differences between the two of them. So to start off here, this is just like a cinematic moment. It looked like it was pre-recorded on both, particularly on the 360 version, because there was a lot of, and I don't know if this shows up in the side-by-side, but basically a lot of like pixelization in the image when it's, you know, being spread out to 4K, so that's something to keep in mind. But anyways, on the left with the Series X version, we're getting a dynamic 4K resolution, 60 FPS. Again, HDR for both of them, turned off in this situation. On the right, we're getting 720p at maybe 30 FPS. There was a lot of like performance issues, particularly on the original version of Crysis 3. The biggest difference here, of course, being, you know, now the performance runs a little bit better because it's through backwards compatibility, and you get what I'm saying, right? Technology's changed over time, and that's a big thing with it. So Crysis 3 is a lot more of a Call of Duty-like experience in terms of the narrative. It's a lot shorter, a lot more scripted action. So we're going to be showing off basically the opening sequence of the game for a good comparison. You're going to be seeing a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of scripted in-game cinematics, stuff like that. It's going to give you a good basis of being like, okay, this is what it used to look like, this is what it looks like now. So Crysis 3 is also something story-wise that leans heavily on the first two Crysis games. So for the first Crysis or the second Crysis, you could basically jump into those without having played either or, right? It does lean on each other, but there's something about this one that really heavily focuses and leans on the first and second Crysis games, because it kind of ties all the stories together, and it concludes the trilogy, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, you kind of have an expectation of your abilities, and I think this point right here is when the gameplay really starts to show that with Crysis 3 having the 60 FPS, so much smoother, and there's also a big change in the clarity of the experience. I do also think that the lighting is much better with the Series X remastered version of Crysis 3. It does look similar picture-wise, but it's just like a huge difference in regards to how rooms are lit, how characters are presented. You get a lot more detail within those characters, especially when you get to the more lit-up areas of the game. It's a very dark, stormy opening, but then after that, you're in much more well-lit environments, much more open environments. And I hope you're seeing this, and I don't know if it comes across as much because it's a side-by-side, but the 360 version is like super jagged. It's, you know, it's kind of impressive for its time, but it is very, very rough around the edges. It's not very clean. It's very jagged, whereas the, you know, the new remastered version is very sharp, it's very smooth, and it plays very well performance-wise. And all those extra little details come alive a lot better here. So we're going to also see some more talking type scenarios from our pal Psycho. The remastered version is where we're getting the audio from, in case you are wondering about, you know, the chats. And I did try my best to synchronize this. So during regular gameplay, it's a little hard to do that kind of thing because, you know, it's not the same in both scenarios. And I move so much faster on the Series X version, which is hilarious because when I was doing the video, I felt like on the 360 version, I was just nailing every single beat in regards to like the kills and whatnot. I was like, oh, I'm super fast. Whereas when I went to record the Series X stuff again, I was like, oh, I could have made a little bit, you know, I could have been faster in this scenario. I could have done this a little bit quicker, you know, to try to match them up. And I thought the 360 version would actually be more ahead in comparison to the Series X version. But like footage time wise, I go through the same area actually like a few minutes quicker. I mean, we've cut out segments to kind of keep it, you know, all synchronized to the best of my ability, but wow, the difference for how quick you can go through areas with the actual good performance is kind of amazing. But it does, you know, image-wise look very similar. So I feel like there's almost less of a gap of, like, tech changes between Crysis 3 in comparison to the Crysis 2 upgrades that we saw. So that's something fascinating to keep in mind. But yeah, it's just kind of a neat experience, and I think it's something that is kind of still fun. It's neat story-wise, and the music is fantastic. I kind of always like neglect the music to the degree that I maybe should be talking about music stuff in games, but seriously, the audio for Crysis 3 is just fantastic. It sounds really, really good. But yeah, let's get out here. We're going to be doing some more kill scenarios, and there'll be like one or two more spots where it's a bit more, you know, cinematic. And I gotta say, on both sides here, I am very clean with the bow in this like initial segment. And I was just trying to like rush through it so that I could get to the point where the light kind of comes in, because I want to show off the big approach where it's kind of like, whoa, the light is, you know, shining into the experience. I always thought that was a nice wow moment for this particular game. But hopefully it's coming across so that, hey, you know, the left side is really, really smooth and sharp, and it feels really good to play. They've done a fantastic job getting it running clean and smooth, especially compared to where Crysis Remastered, the first one, when that came out, because that was a rough experience. It really was. But yeah, I do have reviews of all the remastered Crysis games on the channel if you need like a more in-depth look into the story or the chats behind the different games. Also, the clarity there, and I don't hang on it too much because I'm trying to, you know, keep moving fast. The clarity within that explosion compared to the original version is just astronomically higher. You could see, like, on the 360 version, it's basically just like this blurry explosive in the backdrop. Like, you know, a scene that's explosions and explosiveness going on. But on the Series X version, you could really see the smaller details of like shipping containers and little things getting blown up, and you know, it just comes alive a lot more, in my opinion. It's just such a difference here. And I didn't get the right angle here. I thought I did when I was doing it, but you know, it's kind of a little back and forth. But I hope you're still seeing, you know, the cinematic stuff in action. And I don't really have many other details to go over. Just enjoy the rest of the gameplay, enjoy the wow moments towards the end. Again, if you found this to be kind of cool, liking the video is fantastic, subscribing is great as well. And I hope you enjoyed this comparison between Crysis 3 Remastered, again on the left, and Crysis 3, the 360 version, on the right. And of course, we'll have more, you know, side-by-sides in the future, because these are neat to do.
Oh, fuck it. Come on. Let's go.
Sector alert. Fugitives are crossing the border. Terminate with extreme diligence.
Oh shit, they're here, call it in! Actual 2-4, HVT is at the bridge area 5, Delta 6, need backup, over!
Warning. Fugitives located. All security details to the
That just made my job a little bit harder. Hold on. Be there in a second. Bollocks. Change of plan.
You sure you can handle this from your side?
Piss off. I don't need a fucking dive suit. Push forward and we'll link up further down, okay?
Roger that.
Moving out.
warning. Security breach in sector Delta 59.
Psycho, moving to the next area. Psycho?
Yeah. Copy that.
Security breach in sector Delta 79.
Almost there.
Psycho, up the road.
Yeah, I copy. Meet me at the tower elevator. Heads up. Cell setting up turret positions. You can hack them. Wish I could say the same. Once we get inside, we'll RV with my people.
You have people now.
You know me. I've always been a team player. I'm not going anywhere until you give me some answers.
Yeah, I remember.
Most of them are debt slaves. Cell owns our energy, all of it. You can't pay your bills, you have to work it off. Of course you never do, that's the beauty of it. You get stuck in that work-away debt scheme for life. There's no other choice. Well, there is one. You fight. Here, let me show you what Cell have been up to while you've been sleeping. Maybe you'll understand then. Welcome to New York. Version 2.0.
What have they done? The city has an energy signature. Why is that?
It's Cell. They're channeling energy from alien technology, running their entire global power grid off a single Ceph machine inside this dome.
It can't be that simple.
It really is, mate. You kill the power, you kill Cell. As simple as you like.
No, the Alpha Ceph showed me a vision. We've been through this before. There's got to be a connection somehow.
Prophet, the aliens are gone. You finished them off yourself, just a few waifs and strays left.
No, there's something more. If we can just find a hint, somewhere here, a clue.
Listen, while you were off hunting some super alien that didn't even exist, Cell were busy taking over the world. We need you back in the here and now, boss. We need you to help us stop Cell.
There's more than your revolution going on here. I've seen this. Cell are toying with powers they can't begin to understand. Whatever they're doing, it's going to bring about the end of the world. We have to shut them down.
Fucking right we do. Let's get moving.